not full time. Turn it on. Salary.
Yes, yes, I do. I think I've clocked those.
Leslie, are you going to announce the Board of Works one for tomorrow?
I can. Very nice. 5 o'clock, right?
And for a lot of our events and stuff, we don't but our recycling rate isn't from year to year, just change dates. And, so we can.
Here, see, that's not Jackie. And evidently Suzanne didn't hear me.
What do you say?
I said, that's not Jackie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, they have this microphone. But, yeah, so it's nice. It feels brighter. You know, it feels good. Higher visibility. No, it's a good space.
It's nice. Oh, this is like if you set a piece of plastic down after a couple, 3 hours, it'll draw up and it's like gummy. Like if you take that spot right there and put
I
plastic
think
on
so,
it.
yeah, he still has a sign.
This is wet
It's a
today, a little bit ago.
basement's beautiful. They maintain everything.
So Maxwell called the supplier. What is? No. This is a slab we just poured Thursday.
Same problem.
Really?
We manage very well.
You almost think it's the materials and
It does. It just does do itself.
Phone with the distributor, because when you distributor on site.
I saw somebody down there when they first put it down earlier part of the week.
Thank you, Pat.
There's the numbers and then there are notes, and the notes take each one and tells you what they are.
Leslie, I also have some information. If anybody asks, the board asks about
The thing is, you know what their
the
deal is,
Historical
they say.
Society, this is what they use their money for.
Wait.
This is all I have
This is a
though.
slab.
You should give it to Jackie.
Thursday.
And
This is actually
back here,
still kind of tacky and slimy. You
You
don't put a piece of plastic or any material.
Yeah, that's right.
those are our expenditures,
I was hoping it was gonna
projected
be while
expenses for
gone.
2015.
It's old,
And
don't
then the notes
It's a hardener or
describe each
industrial.
line
Thing to
item.
do in this stuff.
Okay?
It's not working for work.
Sign one, that's the utility one that did not get signed.
But I saw what you're talking about, but
2 weeks ago. Maybe 4 weeks ago. It was the meeting Diane did.
Yeah, that's October 6th. You get
So that never got signed. And then there's 2 council ones there, and that's for the special claims that are going to be brought up tonight.
Right in around the bridge. That way they look. It's up there, Pat.
Okay, so this is our projected expenses for 2015, and the notes are different.
Like I said, I think I got one. Is this what you give us?
Yeah. Item is.
Thank you.
There's notes. There's other people with the notes.
Okay. Did you give one for him?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's here, but
I mean, I like to get down now.
It goes into the substrate, you know, it's,
And there's several
the
things
bad thing
here.
is, like I said, if they gotta take it all back off, tell them, I'm supposed to come up with a submittal tomorrow.
Bobby Mills.
I said, I wanna know what size pad, what size machine you're gonna use to try to take it off.
The kids just slowed me down.
Because
Because what it is.
Of course, you get back into
I didn't
the,
see that in there.
get back into the cement, you're
You got the
gonna
page numbers on there?
be creating the dusting problem.
No.
That's the slab we just poured Thursday, and that's the sealer that turned to hell. I was telling Mike Friday when I came in, I went over and checked the sealer on it, and it was like slime. And this is just today.
Yeah, I didn't put it.
No. So the manufacturer's saying that they should have waited a full cure on the concrete before they put it on. No, it says after finish is completed. Weed water
There's a big
is off.
bad rumor out there about
Give me
you.
about 10 minutes, I'll probably be out of it.
This, full cure, 72 hours to a full cure. No. No. It said after bleed water, you know.
That's from firefighter. That is the copy that you requested.
It's an approach. Glad to hear that. I wonder who puts that out there.
No, they saw they did it the same day. According to what they were told, it's supposed to wait 4 hours.
Call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Member Jane Pope.
Present.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Bill Bruner.
Here.
Member Mike Lawrence.
Here.
Member J.R. Holcraft.
I'm here.
City Attorney Leslie Votaw.
Here.
Mayor Dennis Carr.
Here.
And myself.
Okay. Everybody get a copy of my letter? You read it? Any discussion on it?
I didn't agree with everything, but I'll go with it.
Any more discussion?
I'd go with it too. Make a motion to accept.
I also have one question for that. On the Fall Fest, is there any way to keep it downtown?
Well, this don't say it's, where it goes, it's just the fun of it. This ain't worth keeping it where it's going.
Well, I have a question for Leslie then. If it gets approved at the amount that it's at now, Leslie, when it's time for claims to be paid, if those claims don't get, are council allowed to vote against those claims and them not be paid then, or?
As far as the Board of Works is, I would be Board of Works voting on those claims.
But don't council approve those claims too?
I don't
The
believe so,
money?
not on the Board of Works. The Board of Works, I know they're all presented to you, but as far as the Board of Works claims, those are Board of Works claims, just like redevelopment has their own claims. That's how I understand it.
I think you're understanding wrong because they come through the accounts payable register every time and we approve them.
Well, I guess that's a question for Suzanne, and I don't know if you'll know, but, I mean, didn't we talk about recently, and Mr. Hedden may be able to help us out on this too, but there was no way, for under your understanding, to separate those, correct?
There isn't any way for us to separate it on the report that you receive. Those are date-driven or APV-driven.
So that means we have no power to disapprove them, they're just there?
I'm not giving that authority. I'm just telling you there's no way for me to separate them off of the report.
Okay, so then we do have the power to approve or disapprove the claim.
It's going to be on your report. I mean, I guess we could do them on a completely separate day and then avoid that date so that you wouldn't see them. That's the only way for me to separate it.
And I'd like to see an ordinance where Fall Fest falls under Board of Works and not under City Council.
It is.
As far as the claims go, at the beginning of the year, if you remember, we did the purchasing agent, and they were able, the Board of Works was able to approve the claims, two in particular that were a contract for more than 1 year. We reaffirmed those contracts that went through Board of Works, and that was at outside legal counsel's direction. So my whole thing is, and at that time, I checked with the clerk's office because the Board of Works are separate. You appropriate the monies for the board, for, you know, the works of the city, and the Board of Works is who administers anything to do with employees and property.
That's not Fall Fest.
The festival, any kind of works.
See, Aaron, if we had an attorney, we would know what we could do or what we couldn't do.
Jane,
Now we're blocked in.
it always has been under the Board of Works.
Well, remember,
I'm not done speaking yet. I've been on Fall Fest committee for years. I have turned in vouchers to the clerk's treasurer's office. They were all approved through city council on the accounts payable register. Never was separated into the Board of Works.
Council appropriates the money, the Board of Works is the one that spends it.
We also approve the expenditures.
Right. That's approved to run it, and the Board of Works approves expenditures.
The Board of Work report that they get, and I can show you at the next meeting, is identical to the council's report that they approve because we can't separate it.
But where does it say the Board of Works has the power to approve or disapprove Fall Fest?
It's appropriated money, Jane, it's in a budget.
Why does the appropriated money to Fall Fest fall under the Board of Works' hands instead of under City Council's hands? And
City
where does
Council
it say
not
it?
spend the budget, City, Board of Works spends the budget.
Dan, can you help us on that?
And actually, I think, just to add to it, I believe, Leslie, earlier this year, you said, after talking to State Board of Accounts, I believe, that the council can spend out of any line item. Is that correct?
As far as when we had the question on the marketing, yes. City marketing.
So
I will say, and I don't know if this is going to clarify or confuse, but I did talk to Sarah from State Board about a year and a half ago about who approves what. She said that the 280 and 284 accounts were the ones that were approved by council. Everything else was Board of Works.
And Fall Fest is under, what, Riverboat or MDF?
In Riverboat, I believe. Is that correct?
So we approve them. Suzanne just said that's what the State Board of Accounts said.
Now, as far as the Fall Fest Fund, I don't know how much has actually gone into the non-reverting fund. That is one of the non-reverting funds that are under with council approval.
How much was left over from this year?
I don't know
We're under budget,
I don't know what went in there.
or somewhere, I'm not.
I will be coming and requesting a full expenses and a full
It's
income.
coming, Jane, we haven't got it all together, it's
And no, I do not agree with this letter. We need to keep slashing, we need to go through here and continue to do what we were
It's my
doing.
final offer, Jane. I mean, I've slashed
That
over-
doesn't matter
Excuse
if
me, I
it-
have the floor. I've cut over 60% of that budget. You're not stopping this city. It has to operate. That's the last of it.
The reason why I want to continue to slash is to keep this city running. And if we can
Well, it
slash
won't.
this budget down even more, it will keep it running longer and keep the employees employed and have their jobs and their benefits.
You are
The way
wrong.
you're going, things
You're
are going to
wrong.
end up where we're going to run out of money, where we won't even be able to keep our employees.
That's 60%.
And we
of our
also
money.
need, I got the floor now, Mayor. We also agreed at a LCD meeting and a city council meeting to up LCD from 500,000 to 1.6 million. It is not in this budget.
And I'm not putting it in this budget.
It needs to go in this budget, or you're misleading the people that we'll have a surplus, because we do not have a surplus. We have already committed that money, and that money has to be in the budget.
No, it does not.
It has been
Leslie?
approved.
Since the board voted to do so, does the mayor have the right not to budget the money or not?
As far as the vote, I went back and listened to the vote. The motion was, there didn't say anything about the budget. I mean, if you want to be technical about it, it did not say that you would you would put this in the budget, that it was voted that way. What you passed was to give money to the Lawrenceburg Conservancy District.
Subject to appropriation each year.
Appropriation.
Which includes the budget.
Isn't the budget your appropriation?
You can appropriate it separately, not in the budget.
But then you'll be misguiding
So
people, will
You
have a
you wanna tell
surplus budget.
people that you're passing a budget for less than revenue coming in, but then you're gonna turn around because you know there's gotta be 1.1 million more appropriated for them.
You can,
There you-
council voted for that. This is my budget, that's not part of my budget.
Well, we have the right to cut and reduce the budget.
Yes, that's adding to the budget.
No, okay, but you said that was your last and final offer.
Yes.
We have the right to cut and slash the budget.
You have a right to vote for it or vote against it.
Yep.
That's what you're right.
And we have the right to reduce. We just can't increase.
That's my plan. 60%, keep this thing running at its bare bones.
But you're not wanting to put an obligation in the budget.
Dan, can you explain that a little bit as far as where we are? Look, last time there was $613,000 in additional cuts. Is that correct?
That is correct. I think just to clarify, the council can suggest cuts, but it is the mayor's budget. So
The majority can vote to decrease.
the council can suggest cuts that the mayor can choose to agree with or not.
He can veto, correct?
He can submit his budget the way he wants to submit it. Then you will take a vote, and then he can choose to veto or agree.
Right.
But just so that the steps are clear.
Now, if a contract says subject to appropriation, he vetoes the budget. It goes back to last year's budget. Is that appropriating the money for that contract?
Right now, the line item that would be paid for has a $500,000 budget.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, say, an employment contract. Because one of the cuts we wanted to make was marketing director. So if he vetoes the budget, it goes back to last year's budget, because that's what's been done before. That contract says subject to appropriation. So if it goes back to last year's, is that truly appropriating the money for that contract?
If the contract was in last year's budget, then.
It was.
Then yes.
Okay.
But I think the other question to me was kind of where we stand. At the last meeting, there was 630. There was agreed to consensus bill for $613,000 in cuts. And then there was still another 25 or 27 lines that we needed to talk about. And I think everyone stipulated that those were the only accounts that were in question.
Well, besides, I did have questions on the non-reverting funds that had money budgeted. Okay.
That was part of the remaining accounts to be discussed. We hadn't gotten to that in the last meeting. So at this point, the administration proposed a budget that had a small surplus. There's been $613,000 added to that surplus. And there's still lines that need to be discussed.
Yes, but the mayor's starting to shut us down and vote now without even discussion on what we want to further slash.
So at 600 and, what is it?
13.
So it's 613,000, but then when we put in the 1.1 million for the conservancy that's done been voted on, then we're at a $500,000 deficit.
No, the agreement still needs to be passed.
I have one other question. In the last year's budget, is that the budget that the mayor's assistant was taking out of that budget? Or was that the salary ordinance? I remember it was taken out of one. Was it, I believe it was it the budget grant, or was it the salary ordinance that your salary was taken out of last year? I don't have the paperwork in front of me. Remember, it was
wrong.
It
You
was,
had to go back and correct it.
yeah, but, I believe it was either the salary ordinance or the budget, and then when some stipulations were were met, it would be put back into it, but I don't have the paperwork in front of me to remember if it was the budget or the salary ordinance.
I think it was a salary.
Okay.
Because originally you agreed to the 80 in the budget, and then when he signed it and got it all to you, there was an additional appropriation for 5,260 or something like that, or
But if it-
2,260.
If it goes back to last year's budget, there's some contracted employees that's not gonna be able to be paid for what they're supposed to be paid in this year's budget.
They won't get a raise.
Exactly. Which I think the mayor's assistant, by last year's budget, because I believe it was wrong, was 80,000 versus, I think this one shows 87 something for one.
So, Mr. Hinton, on this revised sheet that you gave us, when we talked about at the last meeting, there was a 1 point, with the revised administration's budget, that was after you talked to us and there was some cuts made originally, was a 1.122 surplus.
Correct, 1,132,000, yes.
And so with the 613 from the first page that everyone's agreed to, the ones that we've agreed to was $613, or 613,000. That would make that then a $1.7 million surplus.
Correct.
Okay.
Your current surplus, as of this moment is 1.745 million approximately.
Okay, we need to take 1.1 of that and put it on the LCD. And then we need to, well,
You can appropriate that money. This is my budget presented to you. You take a vote on this budget if you want it or you don't want it. You can appropriate money for the other.
we need to further discuss some line items first that need to be slashed.
This is my budget. Accept it or don't accept it.
In your budget, does the Fall Fest, remain downtown or the fairgrounds? That's my,
That has nothing to do with it. That's just funding.
No, it's going to
well,
the
it's,
fairgrounds.
that's part of my decision. I mean, I'm trying to compromise here too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here I don't like, but there are a few issues that people in my district want me to vote on. So, I mean,
I don't know, hey, that's up to the committee. We didn't build decide what they're gonna do.
okay.
That's just the budget money, dog. We
But-
got that 50,000.
I mean, if it reverts to back last year's budget, I mean, the school gets $2 million, so.
I got,
You
some
did see
things.
where you also
Yeah, a
was
million,
agreeing
but we'll get 2
to
million.
put
If,
1 million.
if you don't want to compromise, we'll get 2 million then.
And how much will it cost us if he vetoes another budget? How many millions of dollars will it cost us in the long run?
It'll be hundreds of thousands probably, not millions.
But that don't mean they have to spend all the budgets. That is if the budget's spent. A lot of that budget was,
Now, don't you lose some tax?
The mayor's already stated that his suggestion to the council is to freeze the levy this year. So whether you veto the budget or pass the budget,
So
in
it
that
won't.
particular case, it won't matter.
you're not gonna raise taxes on these people.
I got a question on Bobby Mills' salary versus Johnny Tremaine's salary. One was greater than the other. Johnny's went up and Bobby Mills went up, but they're not equal.
I think
And they
that
run-
was corrected.
That's been corrected.
I believe so, yeah.
So what is the correct amount? 70,401 or 70,692?
70,401.
My two things at this point, because I'm happy about the schools getting $1 million to be divided between them. I have an issue with the 1.1 additional for the LCD, and I have an issue with the general foreman.
And I'm willing to concede to allow Kelly Will to keep her job if the general foreman is taken out of the budget.
That's under union contract.
Oh, funny thing, we didn't
So
have it
then
last
your
year, and the year before, all of a
budget's
sudden
gonna
now.
get voted down,
You tried to
sir.
You tried to take it out and you can't, it's under union contract.
Okay.
That is just the step-up pay for someone to take that position. That is
There
not a
is
full
no-
salary position.
Position.
Who would take that position? Didn't,
We're appropriating zero to it. That's what our budget's gonna be, zero.
That's the reason the 4,200's in there, because it is a union position.
Was it in there last year?
Yes. It's
But it was zeroed.
not the union, not the
was-
union position. The position is in the union contract.
There was $0 in the budget for it.
There was.
And there's gonna be $0 in the budget for it this year.
You'll probably get sued by the union.
Well, shoot, if we don't have no more representation than we did in
I
the
know.
utility board, when. Oh, man.
Is that gonna go back to, Mr. Gaines then, since he had it prior to this?
I haven't even thought about doing it yet.
Okay, I think we left off on page 28, as far as I can remember, the budget.
This, first, before you do anything, we're gonna vote, either you want this budget or not. I'd entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Roll call.
Member Jane Pope,
No.
member Aaron Cook,
No.
member Bill Brunner,
Yes.
member Mike Lawrence,
No.
member J.R. Holcraft.
Yes.
Okay, 2 against 3. Vote it down. Tip.
So Leslie, all the, that'll revert to last year's budget, so just go off the 2014 budget I got in front of me then.
Yep, there was another meeting set up tomorrow, but
Are we allowed to discuss and slash?
That's his final offer, didn't you hear?
So he's gonna veto our vote.
he actually has 10 days to do so.
Can we still negotiate?
You want to talk about some more while we're here, in case someone changes their mind in the future, or that way you don't have to call in our meeting, or?
Not trying to get rid of my employees, no. This witch hunt's got to stop.
I'm not even talking about, I'm just talking about trying to keep the Fall Fest downtown. I'm not
Ain't
talking,
got anything to do with it.
And I just told you I was
Excuse me, Ken,
willing.
I'm talking.
yeah, it's budget,
Budget, the money.
but it's budgeted for certain purposes, and if you don't mean, the people in my district want it downtown, so I'm trying to fight to keep it downtown, you know?
Not saying it might not be downtown, I don't know. They haven't made the decision on it yet.
And I'm narrowed down to the 2 issues that I said, and I've give up a ton. And one is over the general foreman, which hasn't been one, so I don't understand the big deal. And to get the 1.1 in there for the LCD. So,
You can appropriate money, I don't want it in my budget.
it's fine.
Mayor, you don't, I mean, keep it downtown?
That's up to the committee, it ain't up to me.
Yeah, but you're the head.
Yeah, but it's up to the committee makes the choice.
I agree with Mike. General foreman should stay at 0. Kelly can keep her position. Special crimes needs to be brought back down to $75,000, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy with $75,000. I'm glad you took the money from the 10-county grant for the schools for $1 million. The riverfront garage, you dropped down to $125,000. If I'm wrong, correct me.
That's gone, man. You vote that down, that's gone.
What's gone?
It goes back to
Voted
it goes to 2014 budget, so that doesn't matter unless anybody changes their mind.
I know, then.
So we're just gonna go back to the 2014 budget? That's what's gonna happen? If we go back to the 2014 budget, there will be no general foreman.
Jane, he told you, it's his way or the highway.
No, it's not my way. I've cut 60%, that's a big cut. I got a city to run, and I can't run it on peanuts.
What are you gonna do when you don't have that much income to run it?
We'll be all right.
Better, we'll be all right.
I mean, I'm compromising a million things that, you know, I don't totally agree with. I mean, but it seems like,
And
you know, I'm not getting much in return. I've only asked for like 3 things to be looked at and considered, but that's it, final offer. I mean,
I've agreed to a lot of things I didn't like either. A lot of things I don't like, cut for us.
Well, I mean, I've only asked you for like two things that, you know, that people in my district would care about, and
Well, I can't, Fall Fest, I don't know, Aaron, it's up to that board. I can't tell you yea or nay. That's just the budget, the money, that's all it is.
Need legal representation. Quick.
I thought it was a fair budget.
You cannot, if you veto the budget, you're putting us back to what was our budget last year, $58 million?
Not all that got spent, Jane.
So we'll be way out of line.
It doesn't mean the
You
department head.
still won't have a general foreman.
So over the general foreman
Grant
and
won't get a
getting,
raise, Mario won't get a raise.
I'm not contract.
oh, your pay's in there. Sorry. I mean, it's in there. So you're affecting all those people over the general foreman's pay of $4,200.
I'm not over general foreman pay. That's
Oh,
what it's about.
all I said was to zero that, and the 1.1,
Contract.
funny thing, we didn't have it last year, it was zero, the year before it was zero, and when you veto or go back to last year's budget, you still got zero.
We did it wrong.
We did it wrong.
It's on union contract.
we did what wrong?
You can't zero, it's on a union contract.
Is it in last year's budget? I can't find it in here. It's
Mayor, that's the last
It was
time I'm gonna say it, because I've said it every year.
Out completely.
The union contract cannot override the laws.
It does, but you must sign a contract union, you gotta abide by it. That's what
I
it
didn't
says.
sign a contract.
You may not, but that's
Yeah,
what
you
it
did, Mike.
Well, I'll say
No,
it
I
for-
didn't agree to that contract,
I'll
sorry.
say it for the
Pretty sure
second
everyone
time,
signed
your
it.
union contract cannot override state statute. This legislative body, you propose it, we are the ones that accept it or don't accept it. We are entitled to decrease it, and that's exactly what we want to do.
You stepped before your contract from them.
I want to make 2 points that hopefully makes the newspaper. I'm not going to sit here and argue over $4,200 being zeroed out and 1.1 million put in the budget that was voted to do so to protect our citizens that we represent, to save them money, is the whole issue here to get your third vote.
That's the whole issue, man.
Right there,
Biggest
I've
issue
said.
is, you gotta switch on out to my marketing director, which does a lot of good for
I
us.
sat here tonight and said, there's 2 things. I've give up a ton of issues.
So what?
The $4,200 for general foreman and 1.1 for the LCD, which is to protect our citizens.
You can appropriate that money, that's not gone.
Okay,
All you do is appropriate it.
okay.
So if the budget gets vetoed, Leslie, general foreman has been taken out of the budget altogether, so there will be no general foreman.
Yeah,
Correct.
General foreman, there was no, you guys took it out last year.
You took it out, it's out, but I'm sure.
So Mayor, why don't you
I don't know if the union
compromise
knows
with
that.
us? Why don't you work with us?
Hey,
So we can get a budget.
I'm not working with you, where you been?
Where you been?
But look at the
I got a
revenue.
city to run, Jane, you don't know how a city runs.
I-
You have no idea.
I got citizens to protect, and this
So do
came
I.
from Mr. Hayden's mouth. If we do not stay within the budget or have a surplus, we can only survive for 3 years.
We have a surplus in this budget. That budget
And
is
we
closed out.
need to continue to build more money for the future because we don't know what the gaming revenue is gonna drop down to, and if it drops down to $15 million,
It's not gaming revenue,
we're
it's
all
tax
in
revenue.
trouble.
No,
We can't
what-
run this city on the general budget. We cannot
There's
run
the
this
gaming
city.
revenues in there.
So wait a minute, Jane, let me ask you a question. I mean, all the proposed changes, you were cutting from the savings. You guys cut stuff out of the savings, 200,000 in the parks maintenance, 100,000
All the
in the
non-revertings
buildings
were half.
non-reverting. I mean, those are the vehicles we used to save, and those were being proposed by
But
you
you
to be cut.
had the money budgeted.
So
The
you
money
could
is
spend it.
budgeted in non-reverting. I'm not.
What I'm saying, I
or
mean,
Diana
if
said.
if you really wanted to save, then you don't understand that concept, because that's where you
I
would be making a
understand
saving.
exactly that concept.
Okay.
I understand that if it's not in the budget, it's laying in the bank, and if we need it, it's still there. Like the mayor said, we can appropriate it.
There's a difference if it's going into non-reverting or if it's budgeted into non-reverting. And there's money budgeted into non-reverting.
And what that
So
does,
that is not taking away from the savings.
what that does is keep, if they come in after the money, that's earmarked. That keeps them taking that money. They've done it for years.
If it was just going in there, but it's budgeted monies
We're not
coming
spending
out.
Grant.
It's budgeted in here. I didn't say all of
it.
it.
Didn't spend it.
Waive that
A
completely.
lot of that money didn't get spent.
Hey, come get it.
But the thing is,
What are you gonna do
if it's
which- in
Go
3
ahead.
years? Okay? If something happens, okay, the revenue continues to decline. What's gonna happen in 3 years to maintain this city?
That's what that budget was all about. I had a surplus.
Until you put in the LCD
I'm
and,
not putting it in. You guys voted on that, you can appropriate
Okay.
money for that.
There still would be.
That's all you gotta do.
surplus.
I'm not gonna argue with you.
It's not in my budget.
I've argued for 3 years with you, and I'm not arguing no more.
Leslie, what happens, like, say, I'm looking down through last year's budget here, there's not enough money appropriated for, like, the fire chief's pay and stuff?
You would, I mean, those are all the union contract figures.
Well, if there's not money there, what happens then?
You would have to do additional appropriations.
But what if that didn't pass?
If that didn't pass, then the union could come down on us for not paying the wages that are in the union contract.
The fire chief's in the union contract?
Part of it is, isn't it?
Part of it is.
Yeah, but not the new raise. The
That's
new
all-
raise
that's what I
isn't.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
the new raise isn't. The new raise is, was given to him and Bobby at one of the council meetings, but
Yep.
when we passed the budget last year, right?
Yeah, because it's in here for each one's shy by several $1,000s.
The
So
three,
what-
the
so-
3.2%.
So what's gonna happen with that?
Like I said, we would try to do an additional appropriation for those.
I'm sure if no one's compromising now, no one's gonna compromise then, so then what?
Like I said, then they would have an action against the city for not paying them what's owed.
Then we're,
Dan has a comment. Leslie? Dan?
One other option would be a series of budget adjustments, so you reduce a budget somewhere to elevate the budgets for the salaries.
you think we could agree on that?
Well, but Jack, I mean,
I
if,
don't think that you would agree on what color the sky.
I mean, I think my request is simpler, keep Fall Fest downtown, and I'll agree to the mayor's proposed budget. I mean, that's pretty simple.
my three
But I
things
told you,
is,
that's not up to me, that's up to the committee.
But it can be earmarked for a downtown Fall Fest. It can be marked like that.
Now, legal for employment contract, marketing director, mayor's assistant, those say subject to appropriation. Goes back to if it's not appropriated, new appropriation, they wouldn't get a raise, correct?
Correct,
Because it says subject to appropriation.
it does.
So, okay.
my three things is, if you will compromise with me on this, Mayor, keep Fall Fest downtown, get the 1.1 million in the budget for the LCD, get rid of the general foreman, keep Kelly Will employed, allow Main Street to continue to get the budgeted money you originally budgeted for them, and I'll pass this budget.
First of all, the union contract, I can't change, that's a contract. I don't have a say in it.
That, what I just said has nothing to do with the union. If you agree with
General
what I
foreman is
just,
a union contract.
with what I
can't have anything to do with it.
stated, the union contract will go through because the money's been appropriated for the union contract.
I don't think they know it's been cut.
The general foreman's not even no longer in the budget. It does not exist.
But it was in their contract. I mean, that's not up to me to say yea or nay, that's up to them.
And if you veto, you're not getting the general foreman anyway.
General foreman's not that big to me. That's, union, we have a contract with the union.
And poor Mario and Grant and Mike and Kelly and Jenny
The
and
thing is, you vote and I don't.
none of those would get raises.
Well, if the general foreman's not a big deal to you, I've offered,
would be to
if that gets zeroed out, and the LCD you put in,
I'm not gonna bust the contract.
okay.
That's my own deal on that. They got a contract, it's up to them.
Okay.
If they agree to it, I'm fine.
Will you do the Fall Fest downtown, just to keep it
I
downtown?
don't care. But that ain't gonna change them. I'm not gonna put that, the service district in it. You can appropriate money. That takes my surplus away.
This is just my opinion. I could be wrong. Legal, help me out on this. Do you have any intentions of paying them that $1.6 million? Are you gonna fight the new lease agreement?
That's up to you guys. You guys vote on it. I don't.
We done voted for it, and it's not in the
Not
budget.
The budget though, Jane, what don't you understand?
It's why it should be in the budget,
No,
because we done
this is
voted
my
for it.
budget to run a city. You guys voted on it to take care of the other part. You gotta appropriate the money for it.
Legal, answer my question. Will they receive their $1.6 million new agreement, or will you fight it?
The agreement is in the process. I am in the process of doing a revenue sharing agreement. Mr. Butler actually emailed me today, so I will bring the agreement to you. You will have to pass the agreement. At that time, you can also appropriate the money.
Dan, how much we got in surplus right now?
I'll leave in 5 minutes.
Can I get it?
$1,745,000.
Why not go ahead and put it in?
I'm not putting it in, Jane. I already told you, I'm not changing it.
We know we owe it.
I've got to leave.
Then appropriate the money for it. That's all you gotta do. I'm gonna take a 5-minute recess.
I've got to leave in 5 minutes, so, I mean, Fall Fest.
I'll call Nick Collin Harlan right now.
That's all I'm saying.
That's not gonna help us now. We gotta pass the budget now. It's due by Friday.
He can come down.
Well, I mean, ask him.
They could stay down.
That's all I'm saying.
It won't though, because the
We've got
committee will
five-
make
I
the
got 5
final
minutes.
decision. Once we put that money in the budget, we lose control over the money.
That's all I'm saying.
Let's go.
Yeah, Aaron, make a deal with him. Bilbo, thanks for trying.
How are you, buddy? Yeah, I just,
Should be covered up here.
I don't know what the big deal is.
Already
We
got,
appropriate everything else and.
there's 5.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is. Even if they're not ordered.
What do you think, Mario? Finally done. More than what I thought it was gonna be.
45 minutes on there. So I can, you know what I do? That was the most common thing. That's how fast they went.
Leslie, don't forget those 2 claims.
I gotta leave here in a couple minutes. I gotta leave here in a couple minutes. What's going on?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna introduce them. I'll leave all first now.
Put that in the minutes.
There are some claims.
But what's going on?
How's it going, sir?
I got it. Yeah.
Who does? Both of them, man. Like you just can't agree on color sky. That was.
You just had to come, didn't you?
I tried.
Did you say for 5 minutes, but
I should know better.
Did you just walk out and get that?
What's it crossed out?
Oh, okay, I thought you went outside. I thought you went
What if
outside.
we do it tonight? You're,
can't get my update. We can
okay. Okay.
I don't want you to be late.
No.
Yeah, you can't.
As soon as Jay gets back there, we'll start them back up.
Yeah, oh, that's fine. Yeah. Never have.
Toast.
Oh, here. Sign these for you guys, in case you have to write on there.
Dan thought you were magic, Jay.
Back in order. I'll take a motion to reiterate back into the,
Reconsider.
reconsider the,
And what was that based on?
based on, we keep Fall Fest downtown,
What's these for?
goes on.
So,
I entertain a motion.
to reconsider the previous motion.
Make a motion to accept that.
Here's a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Member Jane Pope,
I got my stuff.
No.
Member Aaron Cook,
Yes.
Member Bill Bruner,
Yes.
Member Mike Lawrence,
No.
Member J.R. Holcraft,
Yes.
So Dan, we can do a second reading now with the correct numbers.
Just a couple minutes, because
Yes.
I want to verify everything before we do that.
You're a traitor.
What's this?
Jeez, Pete. That's amazing.
I wasn't here. Oh. Diana, she forgot this. So that's what that is.
Since we got a few minutes, why am I a traitor, Jane? I mean, but my main concerns were answered. The school's got $1 million and the Fall Fest was kept downtown, so.
Yeah.
All right, but Dan's looking this up, make a motion on the claims. case claim?
There was two claims that we brought in front of you tonight, because one of them is for, we did run it through the $127,000 loan that redevelopment has made. It is a claim that comes in front of you. We wanted to go ahead and bring it back in front of you. Redevelopment has approved it. I just got the signed note and guarantee on that project, but in order for Jackie to cut the check, she said she had to bring it in front of you all, so that's what that is. It's a little over $127,000. It's so the Inglewood apartments don't slide off the hill over there by the Arby's. The second claim is, the mayor did a donation, based on whether or not you guys, will accept it, of $499 to buy, they're basically 18 by 10 decals for all of the windows, or as many as we can get, for the downtown windows to support Lauren Hill at her game. It is a gray ribbon, and it has her number at the top, 22, and then it says Lauren at the bottom. My sister had wanted to do something, and we talked with the mayor, and I think he has enough for his bikes and his TV that he has to buy for the Christmas stuff, but he was generous enough to do $499 to get the decals out to the local businesses, so.
Any questions?
Are you gonna approve them separately?
Yeah, you can prove them together or separate, however.
Together, that's fine.
Okay.
Entertain a motion?
Make a motion to approve the claims.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Ayes have it.
Okay, the only open item I have is which line item is the schools?
Sweet. Do you have your 14 budget?
14.
I think it was under. Was it under, it was MDF for Riverbed, correct?
Yes.
It should be 15, just zeroed out on your first books.
315?
Be in
15 book would just show 0.
I think it's 415, Dan. 280. 415.
Thank you.
That's what it was in 14.
Out of Riverbed, you mean?
280.
280.
280, 001,
Oh, there's the books. It was right with the books, wasn't it?
415, Dearborn County Schools.
Do you want to have a meeting tomorrow?
No, I'm just sending a message.
Dan, let me make sure you keep it.
I told her I'm not gonna be there, so don't worry about it. When we get done, now, when we get done. I just sent her a message. No, it wasn't on there, so maybe.
Okay, this is what I have as the adjustments. And the 613,000 that we started with, we'll just stipulate that those are also. Is that okay? Okay. So these are the new ones for today that have been discussed. I just want to make sure that I have them completely right. And I'm just going to talk about what has changed. The riverfront garage budget has been reduced from $150,000 to $125,000 per the mayor's letter.
That's correct.
The school line item in the municipal development fund has been reestablished at $1 million. The 10 county grant allocation has been reduced to $2,500. $2,500,000.
2 million, 2.5.
2.5 million, let me start. The 10 county grant line item was reduced from 3.5 million to 2.5 million. What else is hard stuff? The fall festival is still in there. That did not change. And so those are the only real changes I have from today.
Under general on 134, the city agreement with the fire company.
I already had that.
Okay, that was zeroed out.
Yeah, I already had that zeroed out.
Okay.
And I also already had the assistant chief salary at 85,203, so
Okay.
those are part of the 613,000.
Okay.
So the net cuts for today were 25,000.
Which came from where?
Front garage. So with that, I can, let me double check my summary here. I can provide new numbers now for the Form 1 for each fund. And what I can do is I can mark them on the form, allow you to have a form to sign. And then we'll update the budget, tie into this information. Your clerk treasurer will have to attest to it within 2 days, and it will need to be loaded up into Gateway as your budget.
What's the surplus back to taxpayers?
The surplus, as of this moment, is $1,770,263.
What will it be once we pay the LCD 1.1 million?
600,000.
$670,263, but that'll come later as an additional appropriation, is my understanding.
Yes.
So actually, we don't have a surplus of that great amount of money.
Yes, we do.
And no, we don't, because we know we owe them 1.1, it wasn't in the budget,
And you're gonna appropriate that money, Jay.
which will drop our surplus.
On this budget one.
Can we pull it from the budget somewhere? The 1.1? Even if the budget's already been approved? Mr. Hayden?
If there's 3 votes, I think Leslie said that the council can spend from any line item. Is that correct, Leslie? Thank you.
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
So we don't have to appropriate, we can pull it from within the budget.
Take away the surplus from the people.
No, don't you understand?
You don't understand.
It's
do you?
got to be paid one way or the other. It's not a surplus if the money's owed. If I owe 1.1 million and I got 1.5 in the bank, I can't say I got 1.5 million dollars in the bank because I know I owe 1.1. It'll drop it down to $400,000. That's what my surplus is.
It'll come out of the river, but it won't come out of this budget.
Actually, if there was 3 votes, we have the right to spend out of any line item per legal counsel there. Is that correct, Leslie? So if we wanted to spend, say if we voted to spend that 1.1 out of 10 county grant program, we could do so. Correct? Thank you.
Yes.
difference between the marked out numbers and the penned in numbers is $638,000. And all that information ties into what's in your budget books, less the changes that we've made last Monday and today. If somebody wants to take a few minutes and go through this with me to get comfortable with it, I'm fine with that. But we've checked the numbers.
We're gonna read the ordinance.
Dan, will you get us a updated budget book?
Yeah.
After,
Yeah,
with the
we'll send you
changes?
we'll send out a final budget book.
You know, you can send me just the pages that need to be sent. I've already got 3 of these, so. We'll
Take
save
them out of
some.
there, they recycle.
Oh, you recycle? I'll give
Yeah.
them back to you then.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
the problem is that more pages will change than what you would anticipate.
Okay.
These changes will change probably 20 pages out of that book. What we can do, if everybody wants to save money, is we can create an electronic copy and distribute it, and you can print it at your leisure.
That's fine with me.
I want a new book.
You want me to read it?
Or I can.
Ordinance or resolution for appropriations and tax rate. I don't, did she tell you what ordinance number?
I believe it was 15.
Ordinance 15-2014. Be it ordained, resolved by the Common Council that for the expenses of Lawrenceburg Civil City for the year ending December 31st, 2015, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated and ordered, set apart out of the several funds herein named and for the purposes herein specified. Subject to the laws governing the same, such sums herein appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year, unless otherwise expressly stipulated and provided for by law. In addition, for the purposes of raising revenue to meet the necessary expenses of Lawrenceburg Civil City, the property tax levies and property tax rates as herein specified are included herein. Budget Form 4B for all funds must be completed, submitted in the manner prescribed by the Department of Local Government Finance. This ordinance resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by the Common Council. I'm going to go with the adopted budget, and I'll read the fund name. Casino Riverboat, $21,110,382. General, $7,345,727. Police pension, $350,000. Local road and street, $20,000. Motor vehicle highway, $844,428. Parks, $453,387, for a total of $30,123,924. Home rolled funds not reviewed by DLGF. Municipal development, $7,178,000. Park, non-reverting, $137,500. Planning, non-reverting, $65,000. Fire, non-reverting, $155,000. Building and monuments, $225,000. Park maintenance, $250,000. Utility annexation, $400,000. Utility capital improvements, $400,000. Lawrenceburg redevelopment, $475,000. NR building commissioner, $75,000. For a total of $9,360,500.
Okay. Entertain a motion to accept second reading of budget ordinance number 15, 2004.
I move to accept.
2014. Got a motion?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Member Jane Pope,
No.
Member Aaron Cook.
Yes.
I'm sorry, was that a yes?
Yes.
Member Bill Bruner,
Yes.
Member Mike Lawrence,
No.
Member J.R. Holcraft.
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules and read.
Okay, motion to suspend rules, ordinance 2015, ordinance 15, 2014 for a third and final reading.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Just by title only. Ordinance
But
15-24.
you didn't say against.
He's against.
Aye.
Two.
Roll call.
We did a roll
Don't
call.
have to do a roll call, but you can.
Do a roll call.
Member Jane Pope.
No.
Member Aaron Cook.
Yes.
Member Bill Bruner.
Yes.
Member Mike Lawrence.
No.
Member J.R. Holcraft.
Yes.
Just read the title only.
Ordinance 15-2014, ordinance or resolution for appropriations and tax rate.
Motion to set third and final reading of ordinance 15, 2014.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Member Jane Pope.
No.
Member Aaron Cook.
Yes.
Member Bill Bruner.
Yes.
Member Mike Lawrence.
No.
Member J.R. Holcraft.
Yes.
Okay, passes.
Dan, can you tell me the total? What the total budget? Just to make sure I got it right here.
The total budget for everything that's on the ordinance that was just adopted is, the grand total is $41,254,687. I'm sorry, that's right. I apologize. My fault. The total is $39,484,424. And the difference between those two numbers incidentally is the $1,772,63 surplus that we've been talking about this evening.
39, 484, 420.
Thank you, Dan.
424.
Wrong column.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more for this board? Entertain a motion, adjourn.
So moved.
Wait, you
Oh,
wanted to
I'm
make an
sorry.
announcement?
There was well, depending on how things went
What was
tonight,
those papers
there
that
was
I
a
was
Board of
supposed
Works
to
meeting
sign?
that we had set up. I will let them know we don't need it.
Board of Works or council?
Board of Works.
Oh.
Well, we also did have that meeting. We can cancel that as well, since it got passed. But there was also a Board of Works meeting at 5 o'clock, and I'll make sure Mr. Bryant, right, he's the only one not here.
Cancel.
I thought that was
And then
on.
both meetings will not be needed tomorrow.
Okay, I got a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Either Suzanne's gone or Mike's gone.
Do we need to get signatures? Yes. I need all signatures, even if you disagree. Jane, Aaron, but we need signatures. You agree or disagree? Oh, she didn't sign it? I think Diane. Diane, can I have those sheets? Thank you. Just take them while we're up. Thank you.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
That would be the appropriation.
You're good, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, I really appreciate it. How many days it's gonna go?
I don't know, but it means a lot to our kids. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming. Thank you.
I'm going to type it out, just make sure it gets signed.
No, thank you.
I'll chat with you for a few minutes. Just for a couple minutes.
Sorry, I don't know anything about it, so that's why I had a blank look in my
It's
eyes.
no biggie.
Jackie gave it to me to go down.
You don't just want to see you tomorrow. We don't have to.
That was for openings of it or recess it, well, was it? Shoot.
We're missing a couple of things on there. And then Jackie's got to attest to this with the.
I think she adjusted it.
So, I'm going to burn a copy of this for myself. And
Not good.
touch base with the clerk treasurer's office, get everything ready.
Get them willing to give you back your money. Would not work with us. Would not work with us. We do not have a surplus. We know we owe that 1.9 million. As negotiators voted on. I tried to street and serve one for you.